Yo, what is good, trainers? We're back once again with another. We're gonna go through some speedy gameplay from some new Brilliant Stars decks. So today we've got Charizard VSTAR with a Charizard V Max also against that Arceus VSTAR deck that I've already gone over. You can watch the video. I'll put a link for it. You can watch the gameplay. It went against Torterra in a really good best of 3. I won't spoil anything, don't worry. And then the deck list also in a separate video. So deck list is still, you know, a work in progress, but I think honestly it's going to be something that's really, really good. Arceus VSTAR has been so much better than I gave it credit for at first. The fact that it gets Charon's Care, has 280 HP, only gives up 2 prizes, does 200 damage, and just floods the board with energy has been so good. And so now we're going to see how it matches up against one of the new decks coming out from Brilliant Stars, the Charizard VSTAR deck. Now Charizard VSTAR, if you don't know what it does, I mean, you'll see pretty soon in the video, but it hits really hard. It does 220, I believe, if it has any damage counters on it, and it does this for only 3 energies. And so with Magma Basin, you can accelerate energies really easily, put damage counters on the Charizard VSTAR, and you're swinging for a ton of damage. I mean, even potentially by turn 2. If you're going first, then you could be knocking out Pokemon V starting turn 1, or while your opponents only had 1 turn to play the actual game. There's no VMAXs. You're going to pretty much be knocking out anything they have. And so let's just get into this. The Charizard VSTAR deck is also a work in progress. Right now, it is Charizard VSTAR. There's 3 of the VSTAR, as well as 1 of the VMAX. So that's one of the cool things about this deck, is that Charizard V can evolve into either the Charizard VSTAR or the VMAX. And so you can set up some situations where, you know, you have your opponent knock out maybe 2 VSTARs, or maybe 2 Moltres and a VSTAR, and then send up the Charizard VMAX in an attempt to get them to play that 7 prize game. So we get Ultra Ball back, so Eric's going ahead and starting his turn off strong. Gonna get, I think, a Bidoof, since I have B-Barrel in this deck. But if you notice, he discards a Flannery. So that's one of the things I'm trying out in this deck, is that if you have a Magma Basin in play, then you can use Magma Basin, Flannery, discard your Magma Basin, play another one, and then use the effect of that new one that you just played. So if you don't know, if Magma Basin's already in play, you can't play another Magma Basin to like counter that. And so Flannery has a cool interaction with Magma Basin where you can just discard it and then play another one and use the effect twice. And then you, of course, you also get the added benefit of discarding a special energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon, which is something that's pretty useful in this matchup. I mean, if you're getting rid of one of your opponent's double turbo energies, Arceus VSTAR, even though it floods energy onto the board, it really relies on those double turbo energies, and so even just discarding one can be really good sometimes. And so Eric is just getting a really solid turn 1 board. Gets a Bidoof down, a Moltres in play, 2 Charizard Vs, and a Crobat. The biggest thing that he wants on turn 1 is going to be that Magma Basin, because if he can grab a Magma Basin, looks like he didn't get it, but if he got that, a Magma Basin, you know, a way to retreat, maybe attached to the bench Charizard V instead. Next turn, if he just had a VSTAR attachment and a Boss's Orders, or even just use Magma Basin again, he'd be able to knock out my Arceus V, and it would be really hard for me to come back from that. Now, one thing that does give me the advantage in this matchup is that I am playing water energies, but the only water attacker I really have is Crabominable V. I guess I can attack with Inteleon also, but typically that's not going to be great. So looks like I have a pretty easy turn. You know, 3 Sobble down, an attachment on the Arceus V, basically everything I could want. I mean, Arceus is not going to want very much turn 1, and I already had 2 Sobble in place, so looks like Eric's going to Quick Ball, discard that Choice Belt, and grab another Moltres. It looks like he didn't have too much, actually, and my hand is really good. I have a Drizzile, as I have just 2 Drizzile in my hand, so I mean, one's going to go for Research, and one's going to go for, I mean, maybe an Evo Incense. Oh, So actually, if you watched the last video, Arceus VSTAR versus Torterra, I mixed up one of the games. I thought that I prized 2 research, and I only played 2 research in the deck at the time. Now it's bumped it up to 3 research. But this is the game where I actually prized both of those research. So I had to Marnie and help Eric out, and he had a pretty dead hand. So that was a little unfortunate. But let's see. I got a Drizzile. I got an Air Balloon. I was very briefly bummed that I missed the double turbo energy. And then I realized, oh yeah, Arceus VSTAR is broken. I'll just go and search for the double turbo energy. So I literally just, so there you go. My VSTAR counter just flipped over using the Starbirth to grab just another Arceus V that I can accelerate onto and a double turbo energy. So I'm going to swing for 180 damage into this Charizard V turn 2 while searching for 3 water energies. Okay, I prized 1, so just 2 going onto that Arceus V, but putting it onto that benched Arceus V, I have 1 in my hand, so perfect. Next turn, I can attach onto it, use another Arceus VSTAR. If I need to use Charon's Care, then I can. And I just did 180 damage, so this active Charizard V, I mean, if Eric wants to evolve into a VSTAR, I mean, I guess he can evolve into a VSTAR. I have to get back into that mindset. Typically, you know, in this current standard format, when you evolve your V into a VMAX, you don't want to be evolving your damaged Pokemon V, because now you're evolving it. It now gives up 1 more prize card, and it's way easier for your opponent to knock out. So you're losing a lot of value there by evolving a damaged Pokemon V, since you're still giving up an extra prize card. And so I think, I was just giving him some advice to evolve the damaged V in this situation. So on that point, evolving into a VSTAR now gives you the HP boost without any of the downsides of a VMAX. So it's still only worth 2 prizes, so might as well just evolve it. I mean, make me have to, you know, soak target Inteleon pings. Oh, I can't talk today. Inteleon pings into that VSTAR now, instead of just, you know, before it would have just been 2 Inteleon pings to KO, and now it's going to be, you know, something like 4 or 5. So much better, in my opinion. So I have been having a solid game. I have the stadium counter for the Magma Basin, super important, since you don't want you want to be cutting off your opponent's energy acceleration basically at all times. Especially when it's something as powerful as Magma Basin. You know, it's not like Dark Patch, where Dark Patch is an item, your opponent has 4. I mean, there's nothing you can do to stop Dark Patch. So, like, in that regards, I guess Dark Patch is better. But Magma Basin, if it sticks, you can use it over and over and over. I mean, it's really, really good. Okay, so let's catch up. So it looks like he's trying to soften up my Arceus VSTAR with that Moltres. Uses Ultra Ball. Then I knocked out the Moltres, and now looks like he's struggling even with that B Barrel. This hand is not looking too good for him. Now, one cool thing about this deck is you have some plays that can kind of happen out of nowhere. So, you know, it looks like Eric's board is bad, and it is. it's not great, but he has that Charizard VMAX. So if he Magma Basins onto the VMAX, let's see where he puts it. Yeah, okay, that's way better. He should be putting it on the VMAX. So Magma Basin, you know, it attaches to that Charizard VMAX. Now next turn, he can Magma Basin, Raihan. There's a Raihan in the deck, and a double turbo energy, and that fulfills Charizard VMAX's attack cost. It needs 3 fire energy and 2 colorless, and it swings for 300 damage. And then I think you have to discard either 2 or 3. But that's knocking out my Arceus VSTAR, which is huge. That is so bad for my deck. Luckily, I had the boss's orders, and so I was able to bring up that Charizard VMAX and basically put a stop to it. So now, you know, the Raihan's not going to happen. The Magma Basin only works to accelerate to the bench. And so that boss's orders was huge. It was like a 2-for-1 that I got there. And so I'm setting up to just be able to win. I'm now doing a crap ton of damage to this Charizard VMAX. I'm going to knock it out next turn. I'm knocking out the bench Charizard VSTAR on the next turn as well. So I'm taking 5 prizes my next turn. So unfortunately, Eric just hasn't been able to get anything going. And if I knocked out the Crobat V, there was some potential, you know, for the VMAX, the Charizard VMAX to come and start swinging. But even then, I mean, yeah, Eric's like, you know, I can't do anything. Yeah, so a little unfortunate. Even with that B-Barrel, you know, his draws were just a little bit inconsistent. But I've been really, you know, while we're talking about the B-Barrel, I've been really liking the B-Barrel in this deck. I think I have B-Barrel in almost every single one of my decks besides Arceus VSTAR. Tool Drop is coming up. There's B-Barrel in there. Charizard VSTAR, there's B-Barrel in there. Building Durant, that has B-Barrel. Arceus VSTAR has Inteleon, so I don't need B-Barrel in there. But B-Barrel's just been so good, and I'm so happy to be able to just say, like, efficient front teeth. I wonder if they're going to keep that as in the English translation. We'll see. But I think it's just a hilarious ability name. And it feels really good to have this consistency engine back to the format. So Eric has the Magma Basin turn 1, but isn't able to use it. So I actually almost think he shouldn't have played it here, since you want to be getting full value out of those Magma Basins, especially if, you know that my Arceus deck plays Path from game 1. And so if I stick a Path here, which, I mean, I probably won't want to do anyways, because that'll shut off my Arceus VSTAR's ability. But if I put a Path here and, you know, Eric needs something like a Crobat V or something to get out. Now, he does have that Bidoof on the bench, so B-Barrel is also an out. But I still think, you know, keeping the Magma Basin in the hand is probably the correct play. So my Professor's Research aren't prized this game, and I've got a very good start once again. So I've got 3 Sobbles down, an Arceus V, and a Farfetch'd. So that Farfetch'd has the second bite attack, which is 20 plus 10 more damage for every single damage counter on your opponent's Pokemon. So it's a good way to just finish off one of your opponent's Pokemon that's been damaged without giving up one of your Arceus V-Star. So you can Charon's Care, bring it to the bench, send up a Farfetch'd, you know, something that's not going to give up 2 prizes, a 4 to 7 prize game a little bit more. All right, so Eric gets that B-Barrel early once again, and then now is able to use Magma Basin. So one thing that I like about the Charizard V-Star deck is that it's, I mean, okay, game 1 it didn't look that consistent, but you're playing 4 Quick Ball, 4 Ultra Ball, you got the 4 Magma Basin, I think it's 2 or 3 Air Balloon in here, I think it's 2 Air Balloon and a Switch. We'll go over the deck list, but it just feels good playing 4 Quick Ball and 4 Ultra Ball when you want Fire Energies in the discard pile. And so, as you can see, like, Eric's having a great turn 2. He's taking advantage of the Magma Basin, attached so that Charizard V is ready for next turn. And yeah, my hand looks pretty good. I didn't get that turn 1 attachment, which is huge for Arceus. And another reason why I might want to play some more energies in there. But not having that turn 1 means I'm not attacking this turn unless I guess I want to attach with Farfetch'd. But actually, Farfetch'd wouldn't do any damage. I would attach a double Turbo Energy, do 20 damage because that Moltres doesn't have any damage counters on it. And then double Turbo Energy would reduce by 20, so I would do effectively 0 damage for 2 energy. It's that's not the most efficient damage ever. So one thing to point out also is that Eric's in a little bit of an awkward spot. Oh, and I do use the V-Star ability there because I just need the energy attachment. And so one thing to point out is that Eric's in a little bit of a weird spot because he has that active Moltres that he just attached to. He didn't Magma Basin to it. And so it doesn't have any damage counters on it. So it's only doing 20 damage. And that came up last turn when he tried to attack. He could have knocked out the Farfetch'd, but instead just had to do 20 damage to it, which, I mean, is not really that relevant. So now that I've used my V-Star ability, I'm fine putting these paths into play. And now we see Eric, I think just using another Ultra Ball to bring out a Charizard VSTAR. Now, I have you'll see the Kindler in the discard pile, and so Kindler is one of those new cards from Brilliant Stars that seemed really cool. I thought it was going to be really good in this deck. You know, you're looking at the top 7, you're grabbing 2, you're discarding a Fire Energy, but it really has been lackluster. I mean, if you think about it, you're giving up 2 cards in your hand, the Kindler and the Fire Energy, to get another 2 cards. Now, granted, those are any 2 cards, and it's kind of nice, but especially when you're using things like 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Quick Ball, and you want to be discarding your Fire Energies so you can accelerate them with Magma Basin, you're not going to have them in your hand. And so Kindler a lot of the times becomes almost a useless card, because, I mean, there are times where you might want to use it, but because of this Fire Energy, because you don't have a Fire Energy in your hand, then you can't use it. It's a dead card. You have to wait until you get a Fire Energy, and so it hasn't been great in my testing. So honestly, I think I'm going to take it out. There's 3 copies of Kindler in here right now, but with the Quick Balls and the Ultra Balls, I haven't had any problems discarding Fire Energies. And so, yeah, okay. So let's review what just happened here. So Eric could have. I actually want to pause it. So here, Eric could have attacked with Charizard VSTAR. He could have knocked out my Farfetch'd. But you're just knocking out a Farfetch'd. It doesn't even have any energies attached. And, you know, that's just bringing up your Charizard VSTAR, where now my Arceus VSTAR on the bench gets the first swing. And so that trade does not work out in your favor. I like that Eric wasn't greedy here to take, you know, 1 prize card off of Farfetch. That's not going to matter. It doesn't have any relevance to my board state. In fact, it makes my board state better, because now I can play something else that's not a Farfetch'd. And instead, he's a bit more patient, isn't taking a prize card, sure, but in the long run, you know, now he's not bringing that Charizard VSTAR up. And so he's going to force me to use something like a boss if I want to attack that Charizard VSTAR, instead of using something like a Professor's Research and replenishing my hand. And so that actually ends up being very relevant, because in my hand, let's see if I can grab it. So in my hand, I have an Evo Incense, so I can grab a Drizzile. And then I have a Level Ball also, so I can get 2 Drizziles, Air Balloon, Water Energy, Arceus VSTAR. So I can grab supporters. However, I want a boss's orders. But if he brought up that Charizard VSTAR to knock out my Farfetch'd, I could have just Professor's Research, grabbed a new hand. And so that would have been very, very good for me. I would have preferred to not boss. So just by, you know, forcing me to go the extra step and use the boss's orders, now it's a boss's orders I don't have, you know, for the rest of the game. So it's forcing me to burn my resources. And, like, what is he losing? He's just not taking a prize card. That probably wouldn't have mattered. And now, look, he's forcing me to use even more resources now, because I have to attach an Air Balloon to this Farfetch also. So that's right. So 1 Shady Dealing... Let's see. I attach the Air Balloon. 1 Shady Dealings goes for the boss. And I'm trying to remember what the other Shady Dealings went for. Oh, it just went for the Inteleon. Okay. Oh, because I needed... Wait. Bringing that up. I'm doing 180... Oh, okay. With the Inteleon ping, I should be knocking out, I think. Oh, I'm not. Okay, but that's fine. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, it's setting up... so next turn, then I can KO with Inteleon, because now it's at 240. Yeah, so now next turn with 2 quick shooting pings, I can KO that. So that, honestly, it works out for me, too. Now, what this does allow Eric to do is now use the Charizard VSTAR's VSTAR power, or VSTAR attack, which is one of the reasons why I think Charizard VSTAR is actually going to be really, really good. The VSTAR attack does 320 damage for 4 Fire Energies. When you have an acceleration like Magma Basin, and you could do 320 damage, that's nuts. You get to trade a VSTAR, which has almost just as much HP as a VMAX, for a VMAX. You're getting 3 prizes and giving up 2, when it only has, what, 50 less HP than a VMAX? It's really good. And so the VSTAR attack for 320, along with, using the Charizard VMAX to do 300 damage and, with a choice belt on it as well, now that Charizard VMAX is hitting 330. So you can knock out VMAXs very, very easily with this deck. And so you can take your prize cards really quickly. I mean, turn 2, if you're going first, you're knocking out a Pokemon V. That's 2 prizes there. You use the VSTAR power, do 320. It almost feels like Reshiram and Charizard from Tag Team. And so let's see what happens here. So I use Quick Shooting. Yes, I use Quick Shooting to knock out the Charizard. And then continue with my turn. So I have a Professor's Research and a Water Energy now. And so let's see, he's got 4 prizes. Okay, so we're tied now, both at 4 prizes. And so, yeah, this Charizard VSTAR, one of the reasons why I really, really like it is because, well, it has access to Moltres also, which reminds me of the old Zapdos. That also did 80 damage if it came from the bench and was active Pokemon. And became your active Pokemon in the same turn. And it's really good at just, chipping down your opponent's HP before you take one of those prize cards. And so it's also very good against single prize decks. So when we have Charizard versus Tool Drop, which will be coming up, then you'll get to see Moltres in action. And Moltres is really, really good. You get to just trade so efficiently. It's really nice. And so Eric's board is now looking a little not great. And then, I put those Quick Shooting Inteleon pings. I think I just forgot. Yeah, his board is not looking good. I also have a Path to the Peak, so that Lumineon, limits his options even further. He has to research away 2 boss. He probably would have liked Marnie there instead. Then a Magma Basin comes down. Okay, so he does have that. Now, let's see. That Charizard V-Star is at 2... Yeah, with Inteleon pings, that thing is getting knocked out. Okay, so he does set up another Charizard V. He also does have a Moltres. So I think let's see, I'm at 3 prizes. So if he brings up that Moltres, then I just need to knock out a Charizard V-Star and then I win. So his game plan is probably going to be bring up the Charizard V-Star, attack with it, Magma Basin onto the bench Charizard V, and then use something like Raihan on the next turn to swing with the Charizard V once again to knock out my Arceus VSTAR. Now it does get a little dicey because I have that Arceus V on the bench, but I am running low on resources. But then once again, something like Charon's Care, he's going to do, what, 240 damage to me now? Oh, he has the Choice Belt. 270 damage. Oh my gosh. That's so scary. No, 230 damage. Wait. How much damage are you doing? Yeah, okay, 230 damage. Has the Choice Belt on there. I think he should have been doing more, actually. I have to read the Charizard V-Star's attack again. But anyways, now, I mean, I have that level ball in my hand. So I'm searching for Drizzile, and I'm using Charon's Care. So I guess it doesn't matter how much damage that Charizard V-Star did to me, because I'm picking that thing up. But I guess at the same time, if I use Charon's Care, then I don't have an attack. So, there's pros and cons. So I think Eric did catch me in a good spot where I had to choose between, finding an energy for my Arceus V-Star on the bench and using something like Charon's Care. And I decided, he has 4 prizes left. I can't, what's going to happen if I don't attack this turn? I'm just going to send up my other Arceus V-Star and take another, attack for 230 damage. I guess I could have sent up something like Farfetch'd instead, since I did see that he researched away 2 bosses. And so I guess that wouldn't have been a terrible play if I wanted to Charon's Care. But, I see the writing on the wall here, and I'm just like, I can just win with Inteleon at this point. I'm going to take this knockout, and I'm going to put my opponent on a clock. So now there's this B-Barrel he has, and that thing is only has 120 HP. And so, 2 turns later, 2 more turns, and that thing's gone. So now Eric is going to have to boss up an Inteleon to knock it out if he wants to stop that timer. And so I bring up the Farfetch'd. He does knock out the Arceus VSTAR. I don't have an energy, but... So I don't have the energy for the Arceus VSTAR on the bench. So I was a little scared because now that my VSTAR was getting knocked out, which is why, you know, I also set up this B-Barrel knockout with the quick shootings. But it turns out I could just attack with Waterfall. And because of that 20 damage, sorry, I'll use different dice in the future also, by the way. Because of that 20 damage that's on the Moltres, I can use Waterfall for 70 damage. I'll also fix this pointer situation. I can use Waterfall for 50 damage times 2 with weakness and take a knockout on this Moltres. And so that will give me my last prize. Yep, it's before weakness, but it doesn't even matter. That gives me my last prize. And so Arceus VSTAR comes out on top once again. So Arceus VSTAR has been doing great in this little gauntlet, whatever we got going on. I think let's see, we have Tool Drop, so we're going to play it against that. I want to build some sort of control, so we'll have that in the future. And then, yeah, I'm excited to bust out these Tool Drop decks. So go ahead and subscribe, like the video if you enjoy this kind of content. If you're excited to see Tool Drop coming up, comment that below. Comment what you thought of the Charizard VSTAR deck. I am highly considering putting Entei V in here. I do think it could use, you know, a nice 2-prize attacker. And so that's pretty much essential, I think, in this deck. And so once I'm going to fix the list and then go over the changes and stuff in the deck list video. So go ahead and stay tuned for that as well. Other than that, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, all the good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.